Power and prosperity. How we doing out there? Y'all read what time it is. Bitcoin block really coming to you once again. We early got to show you coffee. How we doing? Good. Check and make sure that everything's clearly on YouTube. Family security, let me know how audio is. Let me know how audio is on both IG and YouTube. Please let me know how audio is. Let me know if I'm coming through clearly. There we go. Yeah, we should be coming through clear. We should be coming through clear. I sound distant on YouTube? Okay, hold on. Let me check. Let me check the audio on YouTube real quick. Hold on. Let me check the audio on YouTube. Let me play with a couple of different things over here real quick. Let me play with a couple of different things. Give me a second. Sound like I'm in the tunnel? Okay, so yeah, let me see something real quick. Hold on. Hold on. Does it sound better now? Let me know how the audio sounds on YouTube now. Oh, beautiful day, beautiful day, beautiful day. Woke up, copy some BTC for the low. And that's what it's all about, being able to get more exposure, right, to the underlying asset. Loud and clear on IG, thank you. Just trying to see if the audio is any different on you know what? That's what it is. That's what it is. That's what it is. Hold on real quick. That's what it is. Give me 1 second. 1 second. There we go. Hold on real quick. Let me see. Give me 1 second, YouTube. All right. Let me know. For those that are on YouTube, let me know how the audio sounds right now. Let me know how the audio is sounding right now on YouTube. Shout out to everybody that's tapping in, tuning in on Instagram, and those that are coming in by way of YouTube. The microphone wasn't all the way plugged in, even though the audio was showing the levels. So let me know how the audio sounds on YouTube now. Way better? We all good? Way better? See, some will tell you that there's been a market crash. I, in my opinion, like to call it a market correction. A lot of these areas, especially for those that have been watching my lives over the last couple of weeks, a lot of these areas were the very areas that we were looking for as far as the correction goes anyway. You know what I mean? So it's like a lot of individuals, shouldn't be surprised at where we see everything right now. I've been in the process of putting my family BTC reserve in all rare stats. I've been eating the last couple of days. Hey, good move, Chase Green. Good move. I love it. I love it. Damn good move. Damn good move. How's everybody feeling out there? How's everybody feeling out there? If you a Bitcoin block bully head, then you're embracing and taking advantage of this dollar cost averaging and or shorting and discharging debt. In fact, those that have been fortunate enough to take banking class, how many of you are actually discharging debt right now? Hmm? How many of you have been able to discharge debt over the last couple of days and or weeks and or months? Feeling good for it, How you been? How you been? It's been a minute. By a show of hands. By a show of hands. Who's out there discharging debt right now? By a show of hands. Who's discharging debt? And if you don't know how to discharge debt, don't know about discharging debt, you need to reach out. Feeling like I need more revenue. Hey, we all need more revenue. I ain't gonna lie. Especially with prices like this. You want as much money as you can get your hands on. You know what I mean? Steven C discharging. Miss A is discharging. Miss Jerica says no debt, all profit with the bear token. Hey, beautiful move, Miss Jerica. Beautiful damn move. Damn move. Metamore says he's discharging. These are those that have taken the extra step within this cryptocurrency blockchain technology era and are actually utilizing the software and the tools that have been afforded to us. For those that are actually taking advantage of the system, right? Those that are actually taking advantage of the system. So, big shout out to all my DeFi bankers out there. Big shout out to all my DeFi bankers out there. As we can see, Bitcoin coming in right now, 78K, Ethereum all the way down to 1,500, reaching levels of 14,000 and some change. We're going to take a look at everything here in a minute. Just giving you a brief overview with the heat map of what we're seeing. Solana down at 106. It was $100. I remember telling y'all that we were looking at Solana for $100. Yes, I did see the new Florida gold back. I did see the new Florida gold back. Gold, hey, gold has been on a tear. Hold on. Gold, gold real quick. Gold's been on a real live tear for anybody that's been investing in gold. And it's interesting that a lot of individuals come to me. Look, what I tell y'all in the Money Matrix. A lot of individuals come to me for cryptocurrency information and they end up getting a lot more info, right? Information on trust, information on gold, silver, certificates and whatnot. So big shout out. How much would you recommend to have to start? Miss Marissa, I suggest whatever you're willing to lose, right? When you first come to this sector, depending on how you're looking at investing, treat it as if you're going to the casino, but it's nothing like that. Treat it as such, right? Don't come in and look for instant gains. What I would say is number one, understand the very technology that we have before us, because we're not investing in coins, right? We're investing in technology, software, right? So understand the technology that you're investing in, and that'll help you gauge where you should actually allocate. Then understand that you're investing in the future, right? You're investing in the future. Though at times within specific markets you can see um, quick gain. I would look at the way that I look at it. Rather, I look at this as a generational wealth building machine, right? That's how I look at the cryptocurrency era. Oh, they're saying the sound is going in and out. For those that are on YouTube, sound is going in and out. Let me know if the audio is still giving you the in and out sound. But once again, Queen, if you just step into the space, I do have a let me see, is my website back up and running? It should be. Let me see. It's not. You know what? What you want to do, right? Follow me on Instagram, right? Follow me. Let me see. There we go. Go ahead and give me a follow on IG at Chicago _ crypto _ block _ bully. Give me a follow, and I'll send you a link to the free Discord where you'll be able to get access to past classes, future classes. I've got a real good beginner's book that comes with a free 15-minute consultation that you may be interested in. It's really going to break down what Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is in a nutshell. Um, a lot of individuals that have actually purchased that book have actually told me that it was one of the best written books that they've read on an introduction to cryptocurrency, because it really breaks it down to the nitty gritty form. So that's the route that I would say go, in my humble opinion. Wealthy Rising, big shout out to everybody. Hippie Vibes, what's going on? Peace, peace, peace. Peace, peace, peace. Nola has a great guide for do-it-yourself living trust written by lawyers. Nice, nice, nice. How's everybody feeling today? But yeah, give me a follow on IG. I'll add you to the free Discord. For those that are not part of my free Discord, go ahead and send me a DM if you're following me on Instagram already. If you're not following me on Instagram, you need to follow me. Send me a friend request. But anyways. Yeah, gold's been holding strong right now, still trading at above $3,000. Though we did have a retracement down to, what did gold go down to? About 29.46. 29.46. No. That's not where it went down to. It went down to 29.70. There we go. 29.70. My apologies. I was looking at the wrong indicator. So gold going down to 29.70, right back up as of right now, back above $3,000. And I could actually see gold come back to retest this previous breakout area where you see the 50-day exponential moving average here. Let me clear this up a little bit for you. There we go. So right here where we see this 50-day exponential moving average, around 29.50, 29.40, I can see gold retracing back down here, trying to set a base if it is going to remain in the bullish function that it is. Now, what's interesting here, right? Let me see if I'm correct here. Yeah, we were looking at signs of bearish divergence. Whereas your highs here that you're looking at, see these different highs. Even though the highs are higher on price, they're lower on the actual oscillator. So we can see that this last high right here much lower than this previous high here, right? So that's a sign of weakness in the market as far as as the bulls are concerned, and we've seen follow through come from that. Now, from that follow through, we can see that we lost the support from the 20-day exponential. So if gold was going to pick itself up and is going to pick itself back up, we look for it to retrace and at least close back above $3,033 as of right now at the time of recording. Okay, what I'll do is all right. I thought he was on YouTube. I don't know. Got mixed up. What I'll do is I'll send you a friend request, and that will allow you to message me back. Don't even worry. I'll send you the link to the Discord. So now, as we look at the global market, right? Bitcoin 78, 144, 444. There go my fours right there. You see them in rare form. ETH at 1544. There go my fours again, right there in rare form. Rare form in the two biggest cryptocurrencies in the space. 5 and 3 is 8. 8 is 44. But anyways, we got a couple of stories that we're going to be covering today. Couple of stories that we're going to be covering. Let me see. What would be the best off of Coin Market Cap for today? Let's see. What's big in the market right now? Because I got a couple of different. Here we go. We can get into this here in a minute. Bitcoin drops below 77K as cryptocurrencies join the global market rout. We also have crypto's Trump rally evaporates. XRP leads the altcoin losses as far as percentage losses to the downside. And then we also have an Ethereum whale liquidated for $106 million on a decentralized application, meaning that he was over leveraged and he wasn't able to maintain his debt to collateral ratio, something that we talk about within the self-banking class and within a number of my other classes as well. Which is why it's very, very, very important for individuals to learn how to read technical analysis or read the charts utilizing what is known as technical analysis, rather. So we're going to get into a couple of stories here. First thing I want to dive into is the pricing. Let's start off first and foremost, right, with what really matters. And it's like I was telling y'all before, when you're looking at this, let me see. I don't like that glare back there. Let me knock that one off. There we go. So once again, when you're looking at pricing, right, something to pay attention to, in my humble opinion, is the total crypto market cap. And this is the accumulation of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins. As of right now, trading, as you can see down here in the right-hand corner, at $2.45 trillion. So that's $2.450 billion is what we're trading at right now, right? That's where your total crypto market cap is coming in. And as we can see from a macro perspective, larger perspective, we're just really coming down to the test of 20-day exponential, which we can see a significant bounce at if we choose, and if we are going to see a bounce at this level, right? We would be looking for a bounce somewhere around 2.33 trillion as of right now. So we could still lose another, what would that be? How to go to 44s in effect again on the market cap. But we can look to lose another, what would that be? $110 billion of the overall crypto market cap before we come into contact with the 20-day exponential. And that's on a monthly basis. Now we do have 23 days and 10 hours left within this monthly candlestick that you see coming into contact right now. Has tested, but is not broken below the 20-day exponential. Right? Y'all see that? See how I came into contact with it, but it hasn't broken. Same thing here. And it's like, in fact, very interesting, right? Interestingly enough, I'm actually doing a month-long technical analysis boot camp right now. And we just finished the first week, going into the second week tomorrow. Class is tomorrow night. And for those that are in that technical analysis or have taken any of my previous technical analysis, when we look at the space in between the 20-day and price, what do we normally look for? Anybody that's taken any of my classes. What do we normally look for when we see that gap in between the 20-day and pricing? Who can give me an answer? Who knows what we're looking at that point? Huh? Somebody tell me. What are we looking for when we see that gap, y'all? What are we looking for when we see that gap? Come on now, some of y'all know this. I see the Barbie man got it. on YouTube. He got it. I mean, of course, support and resistance, but it's a specific answer I'm looking for. Specific answer. The Warriors already got it on YouTube. I'm waiting for somebody to get it on Instagram. I'm waiting for somebody to get it on Instagram. Some of y'all know this. Don't be shy now. Some of y'all know this answer. Where you at? You're looking at support and resistance, but I mean, of course, so we're looking at support and resistance, but once again, listen, question, right? And this is more so for those that have taken some of my past classes, the way that I teach. When we see these gaps in between price and the 20-day moving average, there you go, 3MGE. We're looking for that gap to fill. We're looking for that gap to fill, right? That's whether you're looking at a single asset or the total crypto market cap. All right? Correct. Correct. Got it. Always looking for that gap, right? So we're always looking for that gap to fill. Now that the gap's been filled, we're looking to see do we get the same reaction that we had back here where it was support, or do we lose that support, flip to resistance, and then look for the 50-day support? Okay? One or two things can happen here. We can either bounce off the support level or we can lose it, come down to the next support level. Those are really the only two things that an individual, especially a technical analyst, will be looking to happen. Now, what does this mean for the rest of the cryptocurrency market? Well, specifically, if we look at Bitcoin, from a monthly perspective, once again, we're looking at it from a macro perspective, big picture, right? Not the everyday up and down. We're looking at the big picture, right? Let's give it a second and let the chart set itself. Give it a second. Everything's going to fill itself in here in a minute. So right now, what we're waiting for is my chart to catch up. And something to do with the internet over here. I don't know. It's been running a little slow lately, but as you can see, everything trying to come in. You see the volume, you see the EMAs, you see the MACD down here below, the RSI up here on top. I'm really just waiting for everything to fill itself in so we can take a look and see what's going on here with price. Really just waiting for everything to fill itself in. Let me see. There we go. There we go. That's what we're looking for. That's what we're looking for. So we can see even on Bitcoin, right? Back here where we had the gap fill, we're filling that gap now, looking to see if we're going to come down and actually test the 20-day exponential, which as of right now, at the time of recording, is coming in at $68,139. So somewhere around 68,000, 69,000, $70,000 mark. Because you got to remember, as the months go by, right? This is already 3 months. We can go take another 4, 5, 6, right? As the months go by, the 20-day moving average is going to, in this sense, move towards price while price move towards the moving average. So this is going to go higher while this goes lower before until they touch, and then you'll be looking for a repeat of what happened back here in August of 24, right? Where we get a bounce off of that 20-day exponential and then look for a new high to be created. Or we're going to break that 20-day exponential, right? And there's a possibility come down to retest the 50-day, which would be $50,000. Now, if we do break this 20-day on a monthly perspective, that kind of breaks the bull argument in the most current term, right? Because the idea is that you're making highs, lows, higher lows, higher highs, and then higher lows, right? Remember what the definition of an uptrend is. Always remember what the definition of an uptrend is. All right. Everything goes up and down, right? An uptrend is higher highs, higher lows. A downtrend is lower highs, lower lows. Okay. So remember, in the greater trend that we're peeping out right now, if you look at it, let's get rid of all the noise real quick. We've got our low, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Now all we're looking for is a higher low to be created. Now all we're looking for is a higher low to be created. Right? How can you find them for the trust? Oh, okay, you're talking to somebody else. Um, okay, sounds better now. Okay, cool, cool, cool. What was I looking at now? Oh yeah. So we still got a lot of downside, a possibility of downside on Bitcoin. The rodeo is not just over like that, right? It doesn't happen like that. Not in real life. Not in real life, right? You're probably going to get a relief rally where we're at right now, which if we wanted to kind of get a head start where this relief rally has the possibility of coming in at, let's open it up and take a look real quick. So now we're seeing on the 12-hour an engulfing candlestick, double tweezer bottom. So this is a double tweezer bottom engulfing candlestick as of right now. Now, what would we need to really turn things around here? What would we really need to turn things around here? What I would take a look at first, and I'd actually break it down to a 4-hour just to give it a little bit more form, right? What I would actually be taking a look at here on a 4-hour basis, on a 4-hour basis, I'd identify my highest point. Let me turn that off. To my lowest point, utilizing that good old Fibonacci. Let's actually get rid of this here. All right. Get rid of that. And let's go in brand new. Okay. Let's actually get rid of these real quick. In fact, the only one I do want to leave on is the 20-day. There we go. Right. Now we're going to mark our chart up. And we can really use from the high here. Pull it to the swing low here. Now it's two things that I'll be looking for this to start turning around, at least on the 4-hour, right? Um, First and foremost, which some of you probably see, right? Closing up inside of this golden ratio. So that would be price closing above 79,850, right? On at least a 4-hour basis. Right now, you have about 1 hour and 42 minutes left to close where we're currently at. Okay. And then coming into contact here with the 20-day exponential, as you can see now. So now the 20-day, which is that red line that you see, is going to act as resistance if it's going to be selling pressure around this area. Hippie Vibe says TA class last night was fire. Yeah, we had TA class last night. We got another class going on tomorrow night. For those that are interested in joining my 4-week program, uh, meaning that you can get the last 2 classes that we did in recording and then join the next, what do we got? 6 more classes? Yeah, 6 more classes coming up Tuesdays and Thursday nights, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can reach out Block Wall Street Work at proton.me. Block Wall Street Work at proton.me for those that are interested. But anyways, taking a look here at Bitcoin, right? You can already see that you're getting rejections right there at that 20-day. You see that? You're already getting sell-offs from that 20-day coming into contact. So we'll look to see if we can push, close. If we end up failing and falling back below the golden ratio, right? And then on that next candlestick, we fail to push and get inside of that golden ratio, I'll look for a continuation to the downside. Though, right? If we are able to push and stay inside 79,800, push through the 20-day, take out your 50, and ultimately come out on top above 83,108. I'll look for a retest somewhere around first 85,450, right? Breaking, President Trump is now considering a 90-day pause in tariffs for all countries except China. Thank you for that information. Who was that? Najee? Sherlock? I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Miss Jerica, dropping the email. So we may see a slight recovery coming into the market. Ethereum back above 1,600 already from the lows of 14, right? But once again, what I'll be looking for is confirmation. I'll be looking for that confirmation, okay? I'll be looking for confirmation. First thing we got to do is take out these previous highs right here. And that's coming in at about 84,150, right? Take out these highs, attack this high, right? So you got like a little let me see. Can we find trend here? Let me see real quick. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Look at how perfect that is. Look at that touch point. Touch point. In fact, I'm gonna draw them in for y'all. Look at how perfect that is. That trend line is. Look at this. This would be one major factor as far as reversing the trend. This is going to be a major factor, being able to actually break through this trend line right here. Because every time you came into contact with it, there was a rejection. Every single time, right? So this is going to be a major shift change if we're able to let me extend this a little bit. If we're able to break past that specific level right there, okay. Now, something else interesting that I want to take a look at and show y'all. If you remember, I'm more so a trader, tradition. I'm more so, excuse me, I'm more so an investor, though I do trade from time to time. But when you really look at it, though, everything is a trade in life. Every financial position you do is every financial position I do is a trade, because I'm always shifting my money from place to place. So I look at everything as a trade, even my investments, right? Which I do scale out of. So like right now, I'm sitting in stable coins. I'm not sitting in Bitcoin and Ethereum. As far as my working accounts, right? Now, of course, I've got savings accounts for the children and the grandchildren, Bitcoin, Ethereum, things like that. But those accounts I don't even look at. Those accounts are null and void to me. You get what I'm saying? So for the most part, I'm an investor, but I'm a DeFi banker, right? Meaning that a lot of capital comes from by way of providing liquidity and earning fees, staking rewards, liquidity provided rewards in return for providing that liquidity, right? So I'm a capital provider within the space more so than anything. And that gives me passive income, right? That gives me passive income outside of me having to look for the everyday trade. So that's more so what I am. That's more so what I am. But anyways, looking at Bitcoin, damn, did I hold on, let me see if I erased it. I think I did. Here we go. Let me see. It's not there. Not on the daily. Where was it? Was it on the weekly? So I was literally just looking at it earlier. Right? Let me see. Here we go, right here. Here we go, right here. So who remembers, right? Who remembers this markup right here? Who remembers this markup right here? Where we were looking for the lower low to come in right here at the 618. Remember, we called this. We called this. And this drawing right here, hold on, let me show you. Right? Because this right here was drawn by me prematurely when price was still up here. You remember that? Price was still up here and we were looking for that rejection. And then I was looking for that third leg down here to the 618, right? And then looking for a bounce there. So as of right now, what you're seeing, right? Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Let's bring that back in and then turn that back on, right? Let me clear this up for you real quick. Let me clear this up for you real quick. Hold on. There we go, right there. You see that? All in line with the technical analysis that was given a couple of weeks ago. Right? So we're seeing that come into fruition right now. So now what we would be looking for as a possibility is that third leg there. Let me see what the RSI is doing right now. Did we make a higher low than our previous low? Let's take a look real quick, because that's very important. Very important. So we got a low here, right? We got a low here. And as of right now, we've got a, not confirmed, but price is trading here, which is higher than your previous low here, right? So now we connect the dots, like I said, just like the coloring books I used to use back when I was younger, right? The connect the dot coloring books, connect the dots and make a picture, right? So now we've got a higher low than our previous low, higher low than our previous low, even though if we look at price, right? Is it confirmed? As of right now, we're at a consecutive low, right? Consecutive low, yet way higher in price. We still be looking to get a close, right? We still be looking to get a close somewhere down here to see that follow through, to really see that follow through on Bitcoin, in my opinion. So just to give y'all the big picture, right? Let's just do it like this. 'Cause I can sit here and talk about Bitcoin all day. Let's just do it like this. In fact, hold on, go back, put all that back. Let's go here real quick. And what we're looking for now, right? What I'm looking for, rather. What I'm looking for. Let me get rid of all this. Get rid of all that right there. Number one, my first sign and symbol that the shift is changing will be taking out this red line, this 20-day exponential. So that's not until, as of right now, about 83,350, right? That's going to be my first telltale sign. First telltale sign. Now, let me see where we're at from a swing low, swing high perspective. Like so. All right, see, right here, right? Let me zoom in so y'all can actually see that, right? So right here, you see how this candlestick right here is open below the 786. If we end up closing this on a daily basis below the 786, I'll look to work my way down somewhere between $73,290 to $69,000, meaning that my interest will be focused on the area right here. This is where all my interest is going to be. The area right down here. All right. So as of right now, looking to see if we can get back above the 786 and really ultimately get back inside this golden ratio up here between 82,254, 245 and $84,000. So the goal is to take this out, right? Get back inside this golden box here, right? Then from there, take out this golden box. Once you take out that golden box, then and only then will you be able to come after your previous high here. Because then it'll be all about taking out and finding previous highs, right? That's what it'll all be about at that time, taking out those previous highs. Now, you got another route. Always remember, when you're doing technical analysis, is one of two things that can happen, right? You got one or two things that can happen. Now, in the event that we close bearish and we're unable to get back above this line here, we look, which we've already really taken it out here with this wick, but then we look to come down and set above the second golden ratio, right here above 73,290. And then you're looking at either bouncing at the 73,290 area or breaking inside the golden ratio, to which if we find resistance to 73,290, then we look at 71,500 to 69K to the downside, right? So this is in the most immediate, right now breakdown that I have for Bitcoin. If you missed the whole thing, go back and watch the show. TA is definitely your friend. Just to make it nice and clean and simple for you, you got a couple different things you can look at. Number one, you can easily just look at the 20-day exponential. That tells you got a little bit more headwind down to about 68,006, right? Somewhere around that $69,000 level, just to come down and retest the 20-day exponential. If you're looking at it from a weekly perspective, right, I'll be looking at these previous highs over here to the left, right? That's about 68, 69, 70,000. Let me see where the 50-day comes in at. So yeah, right now we're testing the 50-day exponential. Right now we're testing that. 100-day as of right now comes in somewhere around $64,000. So as of right now, we're testing the 50-day. You know, within the week, we can wick down, retest the previous highs, fill that liquidity up, and look to close back above the 50-day, which as of right now comes in at 77,500. All right. Moving right along, let's take a look at Ethereum now. In fact, before we get into Ethereum, let's take a look at what the news is saying today. Which one? Let me see. What do we want to cover? Let's cover Cointelegraph. I like Cointelegraph stories. Really like Cointelegraph stories. It goes on to state that U.S. President Donald Trump told reporters he wasn't intentionally engineering a market sell-off, but sometimes you have to take medicine to fix something. Cryptocurrency prices tumbled as the U.S. stock markets opened sharply lower on April 6th as the Trump administration doubled down on its global tariff strategy. The Trump administration hit all countries with a 10% tariff starting April 5th. With some slapped at higher rates, including China at 34% and the European Union at 20% and Japan at 24%. Bitcoin currently trading at 78,151, dropped over 6% in the last 24 hours and was trading around 77,800. Meanwhile, Ethereum currently at 1560 shed over 12% in the same time frame and was trading at around 1575 according to CoinGecko. The crypto market cap dropped over 8% to $2.5 trillion. Remember, when we last looked at it, we were at 2.44 trillion, looking at a possibility of dropping down to 2.33 trillion. Okay, if the market sell-off continues. Prices have clawed back some losses since, but Bitcoin has recovered 1.4% to 78,500. Meanwhile, Ether regained the 1,594 level. What's going to happen is that you're going to have individuals that are going to come into the space. They're going to buy the dip, think they're buying the dip. It's going to continue to retrace on them. They're going to end up selling at lower prices and end up buying at higher prices. The worst thing to do is do impulse buying, right? Now, if you've got like a dollar cost average system set up and you want to kind of rev up that DCA as far as how much capital you're allocating to it because Bitcoin is in a dip, the market is in a dip, I see nothing wrong with that. But going all in right now thinking that this is the one and it's going to bounce from here and it's upside from here, I think would be foolish in my own humble opinion. It goes on to state that the crypto sell-off continues with Bitcoin fall. Okay, we just read all that. At the same time, the Crypto Fear and Greed Index, which measures market sentiment for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, returned to a score of 23 in the latest April 7th update, which is considered extreme fear. Extreme fear. In a statement, Charlie Sherry, head of finance at Australian crypto exchange BTC Markets, said the drop is unsurprising because global markets are generally more illiquid on Sunday. As a result, a few large sell-offs can have a disproportionate impact, pushing prices down quickly. And what they mean by that is during the weekend, you don't have the institutional money really trading because they only trade Monday through Friday, right? So it's easier kind of to get price to sway in one individual's direction or another based off the amount of liquidity or volume they're willing to allocate to, moving those prices. At the end of the day, though, you can still see it play out in technical analysis, which is interesting to me. It goes on to say that there's no mystery behind the trigger. President Trump's recent tariff talk has rattled macro markets, with global trade relations suddenly looking uncertain. Some traders, however, predict that Bitcoin breakout could be around the corner. BitMEX co-founder Arthur Hayes has also speculated that while the tariffs are rattling markets, they could result in a Bitcoin rally. And you got to look at it like this, man. I mean, what's your game? My game is to get as much Bitcoin as possible. I do that by buying Bitcoin as cheap as possible. I do that by allowing them to drag the price down. The lower it goes, the more Bitcoin I can add to my reserve for my family, for my kids, my grandkids, great grandkids, and whatnot that'll be coming into the land, right? That's the way that I'm looking at it. I'm not trying to make a quick profit and then go buy something, right? I'm more of the responsible type and more of the collector type. I don't really buy a lot of material shit nowadays unless it's something of value that I can get a return on, right? So artifacts, precious stones, crystals, of course, gold and silver, some collector's items, you know what I mean? Art. I try to allocate my capital nowadays away from clothes and shoes and more so to items that if I ever was in a financial bind, right, it's these items that'll be able to, put me back on my feet. Because you ain't going to get top dollar for them clothes and shoes that you buying. You get what I'm saying? You're just not going to get it. So I'm addicted to investing. I'm addicted to placing my money in things that are going to move my pieces on the chessboard closer to the top of the board, right? That's the way that I look at it. It goes on to state, though, the U.S. stock futures market has also opened down. Futures tied to the S&P 500 dropped nearly 4%, according to Google Finance. Meanwhile, the tech-heavy NASDAQ lost and the Dow Jones Industrial Average future sank by over 8%. These are major losses within the traditional system, y'all. These are major losses within the traditional system. Yeah, just like basketball and baseball. In fact, anybody out there know anything about baseball and basketball cards? If you really know about those, reach out to me, please. Like if you really know about them, the grading and everything, reach out to me, please. I may have something for us. So reach out to me. But yeah, those are huge losses within the stock market. Huge losses. You know what I mean? It goes on to state that the future. Well, no, we read that. Trading resource, the Kobesi letter said in an April 6th post on X that the drop in the U.S. stock market futures puts the S&P 500 futures in the bear market territory, adding that the U.S. stock market has now erased an average of $400 billion per trading day for the last 32 days. Wow. Yeah, major sell-offs. Major. That's why I'm so glad that I've been able to walk so many people through having the ability to trade options, short sell the market, and discharge debt utilizing these downturns. Right? These are the times that some of us live for. Because not only does it allow us to discharge debt, now we're able to get lower allocations to the underlying asset in question. Tom Dunleavy, a managing partner at venture capital firm MV Global, said it would be the worst 3-day move for U.S. stocks of all time. Said it could be the worst 3-day move for U.S. stocks of all time if tonight's futures hold. Crypto-friendly billionaire Bill Ackman speculates that the U.S. President Donald Trump could postpone the tariffs to allow countries to make counteroffers or deals. And that's kind of the news that the Queen just shared with us. If I scroll back and take a look, she just said that it was some breaking news. Where was it? I just read it. Yeah, President Trump is now considering a 90-day pause in the tariff. So they're already kind of giving you an idea of what could. Because remember, this is all a poker game, right? At the end of the day, kind of like a strongman game, right? I pressure you, you pressure me, but right now I'm putting the pressure on you, and I want what I want. Okay, you feeling the pressure? I may ease off while we come back to the table. All right. You know, one thing I learned, and this is for real, one thing I learned getting locked up so many times is that it ain't never as bad as you think it is that very first day or that very first week. You know, when you first get pinched on something, especially if you don't know the law, you don't know what the charge is going to be. You don't know what the offer is going to be on time. You know what I'm saying? You know, once you start going through jail, you already know they're going to come with an offer. We offer. If it's your first time, it's probably going to be probation or something like that. But just that first time, that first day, your stomach in your gut. Once you go through it, though, it'll be like, whatever. Take me to the county. Let me get on the deck. But you know what I mean? That first day, it's like, oh my God, woe was me. And then, you know, God forbid you ain't in there for nothing serious, but you got an outdate. By the time you make it home, it's like, damn, that really wasn't that bad. For me, you know, and I've been locked up a couple times, another couple of years here and there. Every time, though, still was like, man, it wasn't that bad. Especially when I look at individuals that ain't never coming home. But that first day, though, like today, oh my God, the market is down. It's crash, it's terrible. It's like, Joe, you're not gonna remember this day in 6 months. You know what I mean? You're not gonna remember this shit in 6 months, a year from now. It's gonna be like a blip in the machine, right? A blip in a curve in the roadmap. I mean, let's do this. Let's real quick. Let's look at Bitcoin from its inception, right? This is Bitcoin from the time it was released, which was 0 cent, to now. Look at each one of these market crashes from $14 down to $3, from 1,100 down to 200, from about 15,000 down to 3,000, from 66,000 down to 16,000, and now where are we at? 100,000 down to 78, 80,000. Like what crash, man? What crash are we really talking about? You know what I mean? What's really to be scared of right now? Money made this morning, debt discharge. Hey, Miss Artist Gemini said money made this morning, debt discharged on the back end. I love it. I love it. I love it. So yeah, it's like, I mean, you can cry and moan about what's going on. This is a small little bit bleep in the overall trajectory that we're going. You know what I mean? Now, if we take a look at Ethereum, though, a lot more bearish than Bitcoin. In one sense, it didn't even reach its previous highs yet, right? So it didn't really go into a macro bull market just yet. Really, what it was doing was playing catch up, unlike Bitcoin. That's really all it was doing on the Ethereum side. It was just playing catch up like Bitcoin, right? Let me see. Ethereum already lost your 20-day, lost your 50-day. Right now, look where you're at. Smack dab right down there on the 100 day moving average. See how that works? Coming right down to that hundo. That's about 1466, which if we put it on the chart, we already tapped. Look at that slight little tap right there. Now the idea from here is to see if we're going to bounce from here, right? That's the idea. See if we can bounce from here, right? If we don't, I'll look to retest these previous lows. Bankroll was already looking at these areas right here around $1,000, right? We can see $1,000 Ethereum shut off another $500, right? The more time in the game, the more calm I feel when this stuff happens. 100%, 100%. That's why I say when you gotta get started, right? You gotta get started in the game to go through these cycles. That way you can understand them. Like I was doing the class the other day in Chicago, right? And the teacher, well, one of the staff was asking me, and she was like, "Well, if I put my money in Bitcoin, can I lose money too?" And it's like, man, what people don't understand, you can put your money in something that's going up, and as soon as you put your money in, it goes down for 10 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 2 days. You get what I mean? Before it bounces back up. That's what people have to consider. Prices are always going up and down. This is not a game where you put your money in and you just start making money instantly. Oh, price just goes up from here. Y'all got to get away from that way of thinking. And then you got to get away from thinking that because something went down, oh, it's broke or it's not worth having. Oh, that's going down. Why would you want that one? Like what, numb nuts? You want to buy it when it's down. You don't want to buy it when it's up. And that's the misconception that a lot of people have. They look to acquire what they want when prices are running crazy because they just want to put their money in and watch it go up right then and there. They want to look at the screen. You get what I'm saying? They want to look at the screen. So it's like once you go through a couple of cycles, it's like, okay, let me take advantage of this real quick. We're going to turn around eventually, whether it goes on for a month, 6 months, a year, right? You know how to utilize it because remember, you can profit both sides of the fence. Both sides of the fence, right? In fact, what's one strategy? What's one strategy right now, right? I'm gonna ask the viewers out there, especially those that have been taking my classes in the past. What is one strategy you can use right now where you're almost at a 99, I'm gonna say 95% chance, a zero chance, a loss, 100% upside with passive income every single day? I'm gonna ask to the community who can answer that. 95% zero loss chance, 90, almost really 100% upside. If there's no loss, 100% upside, right? And let me not say 100% because there could always be failures or stuff like that, but we'll say 95% upside and passive income. Passive income. Nope, it ain't DCA. It ain't DCA. It ain't DCA. I'm talking about the minute you can put it in right now today, and by the end of the day, you'll have more money than you started off with. Today, no matter what the market does. It doesn't matter what the market does. Listen to what I'm telling y'all. It don't matter what the market does. You can put your money in it right now, right? And you're going to start printing money. And by the end of the day, you'll have more money than you had when you started with, right? It ain't staking. There you go. Costco Jones got it. Costco and Jabari, man. Stable liquidity providing. Now, why would I not say staking? Because even with staking, when you supply a volatile asset, if the underlying dollar value of that asset goes down, even though you're earning staking rewards, your overall P&L is going to be down. But when you supply two different stable coins, right? I'll give you all an example. When you supply two different stable coins, let me show y'all real quick. What you're doing is you're keeping your overall principal, your capital, at a stable balance, and then you're winning off the people that are trading, right? So you're getting paid off the people that are trading, right? Exactly. The method from the previous class that we did. Yes, ma'am. The method from the previous class that we did. You're absolutely correct. I give it to y'all every time. Yeah, it's yield farming, but yield farming only with stables. Yield farming only with stable coins. You're not yield farming with volatile assets. Okay? You're not yield farming with volatile assets. All right? Let's see. What do we got over here? Are you not going to let me look? Let me see. There we go. There we go. Let me shrink this down a little bit so we can see the whole thing. There you go. So now I'm going to be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with you. Even positions like this, ETH and the USDT, 731% on Ethereum and USDT. That's not a bad interest rate, right? Because what you're doing is you're keeping half of your balance stable, right? You're keeping half your balance stable. Now, if you want to just earn something passive, 8.45% APY, USDT and USDC, right? USDT and USDC. Now, let's see if we can find some better liquidity pools. Let's see if we can find some better liquidity pools as far as higher interest rates on the stables, which you're going to find a lot of them on some of the newer pools too. In fact, I really can't wait till I can end this live. What time is it? I got a class to do. You got 11% over here on DAI and USDC, right? Earn about 11% right here on DAI and USDC. Now, if you're the type that is a little bit more riskier, right? Just so individuals can see the type of passive income that is available within this sector, right? Let's actually take a look at what do we got over here? Interesting. Don't know what they are. They got to be oh, well, that changed quick. There we go. Let me just pull up some of the hottest pools real quick. Let everything come in. Wheat and Arrow, that Arrow's probably going to take a hard hit. So you're going to see X amount of losses, permanent loss, dealing with something like that. Let's see what Solana's got on their chain as far as stable coins and APRs go. Wow, look at these interest rates. 4,000%. Let me see. I wonder what their liquidity is. Now this ain't bad. 15% on USDS and USDT right here. And once again, because the internet's running a little slow, it's technically still an offer. What do you mean, Joe King? It's technically still an offer. Everything is an offer. I don't understand the question. What is Wall and Sui on turbos? Oh, you've been in Walrus and Sui on turbos. Got you. Got you. You'd have to choose your network on the blockchain you want to utilize. I got so hyped on Crystal 1,600% returns before I started to understand how it works. Yeah, never chase the highest interest rates. Never, ever, ever chase the highest interest rates, man. You want the way that I approach it, right? The way that I approach it. If we're in a consolidative market, supportive market, then I'm looking for assets that I don't mind holding for the long term and yield farming with those assets. If I can find two like pairs like Bitcoin and Ethereum, BNB and AVAX or something like that, right? I'll supply liquidity in those. Other than that, you're looking at stable coin yield farming, right? Yeah, airdrop possibilities. You got the point check-in. It's a lot to offer in this space outside of the average, hey, I want to trade. I want to use leverage. I want to do futures, right? It's a lot more this space got to offer. A lot more this space got to offer. Let's actually take a look at how this individual here doing DeFi was going to get liquidated. So Ethereum did get liquidated for $106 million. So people, waking up, worried, complaining about losing a couple of dollars. This individual just got liquidated for $106 million. You know how hard that's got to hurt? And then not understanding what you could have done to alleviate that. I already know what the process I would have done. I would have withdrew the smallest amount I can without liquidation, paid down, withdraw, pay down, pay down, withdraw, pay down. I'd rather pay down myself than get liquidated, because then when you get liquidated, you get hit with the penalty fee as well. But it says an Ether investor who had a large position on decentralized finance lending platform Sky has been liquidated to the tune of more than $100 million as the price of ETH crashed. This ETH whale lost 67,570 ETH, worth around $106 million when the asset crashed by around 14% on April 6th. Liquidating his collateralized debt position, he got a CDP on Sky, according to MakerVault's Explorer DeFi, MakerVault's Explorer DeFi Explorer, and as observed by Look on Chain. The Sky lending protocol, which rebranded from Maker in August, is used by DeFi participants to create collateralized debt positions by providing crypto, ETH in this case, to borrow the platform's stablecoin DAI. And if I'm not mistaken, the way you used to do it is you used to mint the money. You weren't borrowing it. It was minting. right? If you like base, choose base. If you like soul, choose soul. What matters where the fees are going? What? Don't matter which network you prefer. Which network doesn't matter? No, not really. Well, it does. Let me not say it doesn't matter. Let me not say it doesn't matter. It does depend when you're boiling it down to, okay, I want these specific assets that I want to hold, because you're not going to find all the assets on all the different networks. You get what I mean? So it definitely does matter. And the way that I would approach it, I don't approach my yield farming by going on yield farm platforms looking for high yields. What I do is I approach it by the assets that I'm looking to hold, right? And then I go look to see, can I acquire, or excuse me, allocate those assets as capital somewhere in order to get a passive income return, right? That's the way that I look at it. All right. But it goes on to state that the system uses over collateralization ratio, typically 150% or higher, meaning that the user needs to deposit at least 150 worth of ETH to borrow 100 DAI. The protocol autonomously monitors the value of ETH collateral relative to the borrowed DAI. And if the ETH value falls and the collateral ratio drops below the minimum requirement, the position becomes eligible for liquidation. The whale's liquidation occurred when the ratio fell to 144% as the price of ETH plummeted. Meanwhile, Spot on Chain reported that another whale that supplied 56,995 wrapped ETH worth around 90 million to borrowed DAI was on the verge of liquidation. In a liquidation event, Sky seizes the ETH collateral, which is auctioned off to pay back the borrowed DAI plus fees. Any remaining collateral after the debt is paid is returned to the user. And that's another thing. When you get liquidated, they're not taking everything in this space. What they're doing is they're paying down your loan. Normally, if not all of it, back down to a more safe area like they do with Aave, right? It goes on to state that ETH prices have crashed a whopping 14.5% over the past 24 hours, falling to $1,547 at the time of writing as the wider crypto markets melt down in the reaction to the U.S. Donald Trump's tariff-induced market sell-off. The last time ETH traded this low was in October of 2023. We're in 2025 now, y'all. And further losses are likely to see more DeFi users liquidated. Further losses are likely to see more DeFi users liquidated unless they can provide more collateral. I don't understand why they're not. And this is why I love teaching what I teach, because I teach people how to get out of those positions if you're close to getting liquidated. In fact, we just talked about this the other day when we was on live. Remember New Money Matrix Discord? Remember that? We were just talking about this. And I told y'all what you want to do if you're ever in a position where you're close to getting liquidated. Pay down, stabilize, earn. Remember that? Who remembers that discussion? Who remembers that discussion? And that was almost a year after the collapse of FTX exchange. ETH remains down 68% from its all-time high in 2021. And further losses are likely to see more DeFi users liquidated unless they can provide more. Okay, we read that. According to CoinGlass, 320,000 traders have been liquidated over the past 24 hours to the tune of almost $1 billion. The majority of liquidations over the past few hours have been ETH positions, if it revealed. All right. Pay down, stabilize, earn. Yep. Screenshot. Yep. Y'all remember. Let me see. Let's go take a look real quick. Let's see what Solana is doing. Solana down to its second day, 50-day exponential moving average, holding 94.37 as of right now. You need to clear 135.70 in order to put yourself back in good graces. If you were to lose, there we go. Yeah, if we lose, which we're already losing $110, I could see Solana down somewhere around $60. Just to keep it a buck with you, we're at 107 right now. I could see Solana down south somewhere around $60 from where we currently stand right now. Now, if I want to tighten it up a little bit, let's see if we can tighten the range. There we go. So yeah, closing below 102 is going to open up the door for somewhere between $97 and $90. If we take out $90 to the downside and end up closing below that area, then I'll be looking at somewhere between $65 to $67. All right. That's what I'll be looking at that point. The only thing that will save Solana, especially on this lower time frame, is a close back above that 135 level. We can start off at 125 and a quarter, but then 135's got to get taken out in order to see this thing really turn around. With that being said, I appreciate everybody that was able to tune in and tap in for today's show. Hopefully it was insightful, educational, informative for you. I appreciate all the birthday wishes, y'all. I appreciate all the birthday wishes. I appreciate it. It's definitely love. My solar return is really a time of mourning for me and my family for personal reasons. So it really ain't that much of a celebration time. Though I appreciate all the love I got from everybody, it definitely turns things around. I still remember you saying back in fall of 2023 that this is the last time we'll see 1K ETH and 16K Bitcoin. Now ETH almost hit that area. Hey, crazy times. Crazy times. We'll see if we make it down there. Okay, trying to tap into the Discord. Make sure you DM me or go under this video once I post this video, because I'm about to post it live. Post it on my page. Go under this video and just post the word Discord, and I'm gonna DM you the link to the new free Discord. Okay. Once again, just go under this video, say the word Discord, and I'm gonna send you the link to the free Discord. Okay. Thank you, Miss Amelia. Thank you. Now you know what? Yeah, you shouldn't have jinxed it, Miss Jericho. I ain't even gonna talk about it. I'm gonna leave it there. Hey, but with that being said, I appreciate everybody. No, not right now under the lab, Miss Veronica. Let me post this video. And then come back through. If you missed this video, go back and watch it. It was a real good video. Previous classes still for sale. Yeah, you can get all my previous classes. My son turns 14 today. Hey, big shout out to your son. Happy birthday to the young guy. Reach out to me. I got something for him. Got a little crypto for him. Reach out to me. All my past classes as of right now can be purchased by way of my new free Discord. It's a free Discord. If you want to join, DM me. If you can't DM me, go under this video after it's posted. Say the word Discord. You'll get the link to the Discord. You can get access to everything. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here into the next one, y'all. Peace, power, and prosperity, family. I'm gone.